whether I gave myself that permission or some other people that I've followed in the industry gave me permission, my own mental permission of like, no, I can do a real estate video that's a little bit different from what I've seen.
Welcome to the latest episode of Over a Pint. We're mixing things up this week. We're filming in the makeshift bar in my basement. It's a really classy production studio we have here at Just Sell Homes. This week we have Jordan Rossman, who has decided to come down and visit us here. So why don't you introduce yourself to those who don't know you?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jordan Rossman. I am a co-founder / co-team leader of a small team up in Orillia, Ontario. I also host a popular show in Orillia called Why Orillia, and so I sell homes, I interview people, and then I spend the rest of my time with my family.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty much me.
So you picked the drinks this time.
I did.
So what are we drinking?
So today, I'm sorry for those of you that were hoping we were going to get drunk, but we're not drinking alcohol today. I have Famous Island Soda, cream soda, soda mousse in French.
For the French people.
I'm sure that's perfect pronunciation.
It's close enough.
And then if we get really frisky, we're going to get the ginger beer.
Fancy.
Or gingembre.
So French.
We're going to start with the
soda mousse.
Soda mousse today.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right,
let's do this.
I make no promises. I've never heard of this before.
I'll find out. It smells like it. I mean, I don't think I've had cream soda since I was about 12.
Yeah, this goes well with chicken fingers.
Good to know.
It's like they made that bottle for this cup.
Yeah. Cheers.
Awesome.
Thanks
Cheers.
for coming on in.
Thank you for having me.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I'm not a cream soda connoisseur, but...
Me either. It feels like it's probably a more authentic version than, like, Crush cream soda, though.
But is there really another kind out there that's mainstream than Crush cream soda? It's not like there's a Coke and Pepsi, then, like, a Crush and...
Exactly. It's pretty much Crush, and then you're into these, like, specialty...
It's like Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper. It's just one.
Yeah. Crush just owns this world.
There's no RC Cola cream soda.
But you know what? Island Soda might pick things up. This is not too bad.
Yep. So how long have you been in the business?
I have been in the business just over 4 years. So I just finished my second set of RICO courses that reminded me that I was...
Oh, those are fun.
Yes. I now know the difference in how millennials and baby boomers communicate.
But do you know what spam is?
Yes, I do. Yeah. One of the options on the quiz was mystery meat.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I still have license, so I go through those every couple of years. Yes, I go through those every couple of years.
Yes. I don't envy that. Yeah, it was... so that was sort of my reminder of 4 years, and time certainly flies. This is the longest I've ever done any type of profession.
Yeah.
So I'm...
How old are you, though? Like that?
I'm 29.
So it's not really like a big...
No, it's not a huge accomplishment.
That's like 2 other jobs.
Right. I did start when I was 14. I started selling corn, but real estate has been 4 years.
So what led you to want to get into real estate?
You know what's funny? So I hear people all the time, people who are newer in the industry or just getting their license, and a lot of times they are, you know, oh, I've always loved real estate. And the truth is, when I first got into real estate, I had no interest in real estate before that. Yeah. I'd never bought a house. I didn't know anything about real estate. I was working in Toronto and hated my job. It was just not a good fit for me. I quit my job and I wanted to move back up north. And so I reached out to someone that I knew was really well connected in the Barrie, Orillia area. Wanted to buy him lunch, and I said, I was looking for, you know, do you know anybody that is looking to hire? And he said, well, I'm thinking about starting a real estate team. Why don't you get your license? So that was back in the day when you could get your license in 4.5 months.
Yeah.
So 4.5 months later, I was off to the races. I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that I wanted to run my own business. I thought what sort of held me back for a long time is I thought I had to have that magical idea. Yeah. I thought I had to come up with this great invention before I could be an entrepreneur. And what I found was I just sort of stumbled into something And it occurred to me, well, this is entrepreneurship. I'm sort of in charge of my destiny and in charge of whether I'm going to be successful or not. And so here I am 4 years later, and can't say loving every minute of it. There's some ups and downs in real estate.
Oh, it's entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Anyone who says every minute's amazing is lying.
Yes, they're definitely not an entrepreneur if they've said that, because there are certainly times where it would be easier to get a paycheck or easier to not have that responsibility.
Well, I even did that because I was an agent for a bit, then took a salary job, then came back to it. And I think the first like couple months of like salary, I'm like, this is nice, like consistent paycheck, evenings and weekends off. And then I started getting the itch again. And I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna last.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. I was the worst employee I could ever imagine. Like if I had to hire myself, I would fire myself in a second. I just was, it was not a good fit for me. But yeah, especially early on, having that a consistent paycheck is something that you start to miss. But then you realize that, you know, if you work hard and do what you're passionate about, that's sort of...
How long to get your first sale?
So I had the benefit when I first started of, I had partnered up with this guy who got me into the business. So the first sale, I think, is really the hardest for people because it's a huge transaction for a buyer or seller, and I don't blame them. They don't always want to work with somebody, and like that's not like deal. This is your first house you've ever sold. It's not really an exciting thought. So I had the benefit of, while I was getting my license, I was sort of his assistant. So I had the benefit of sort of learning some of the behind the scenes ends of the transaction. Yeah. And then we worked on a few deals together. Our partnership didn't last very long. No. It was amicable, but it just wasn't the right fit for us. And so to answer your question, I think it was 2 or 3 months before I had my first solo deal, which is a long time.
Yeah, it's 6 months.
Yeah.
Tough.
It's tough. Yeah, it's a grind because it's one thing, you know, I hit my sphere hard right off the bat, but not everybody. How old was I? I guess I was 25 at the time. Not all of my friends were like ready to... No. It's not easy to get listings out of a group of 25-year-olds.
Yeah, I think so I sold for 2 years. My entire network, not a single person I know bought or sold. I had a few leases in my network.
Okay.
But not a single, like, and this includes like aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, old teachers, like basically anyone that I knew that was at buyer or selling position. None of them moved.
Perfect.
So all came from outside of my sphere.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. I learned how difficult it was. Yeah. I started selling in Barrie. About a year later, I'm now closing in on 3 years full-time in Aurelia. Yeah. But I started selling in Barrie, and there's a lot of agents in Barrie. So attracting new business is not...
And there's a couple like really big players there too.
Yes, exactly. And so to go up against them, now that I'm further along in my journey, I see how little of a chance I had going up against them. Having a system in place and having a true offering is not something that is easy right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's hard when you're new to articulate your value to somebody.
So you started Barrie, then moved to Aurelia. So what did you do to grow your business in Aurelia at the beginning?
So I was sort of feeling, I was just at the end of my run in Barrie. I was really getting into digital marketing. Social media marketing was sort of something I was really passionate about, something I could get behind, something I was driven to learn more about. And around the time where I realized I wanted my lifestyle to be in Aurelia, I also realized there was this huge void in the market in a city that historically was very old-fashioned and slow to adapt and, you know, a little bit sort of behind the times, if you will. So I made a commitment. I love all my clients, but one of my favorite clients to date trusted me with a huge sale of his. Yeah. And so I got that first sort of big check in real estate, and I had virtually no expenses at the time. And I said, I'm going all in on Facebook marketing. Yeah. Got a GoPro. that was my first video experience. And I said, I'm going to throw money at Facebook ads and try and figure it out. Yeah, which is not always an easy thing to do, but I said, there's something here and I need to figure it out. And so that was really my strategy, was there was not a lot of social media marketing in Aurelia at the time, only a few people really doing it. So I said, here's the opportunity where I can go in and try and be me and try and sort of become known as that guy in town.
So did you sell that property off Facebook?
The big property?
Yeah.
No, I sure marketed it on Facebook. But the reality is that listings, whether you sell it on Facebook or not, the client wants you to sell it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've subsequently sold properties on Facebook, through Facebook, but that one didn't. But I started to gain some traction. I started to meet new people. I started to articulate my value to my sellers. And so while I didn't sell that one on Facebook, it allowed me to leverage a little bit more.
That's good.
Yeah.
So how did you end up growing it from like doing a couple deals to like the point where you're enough to have a team?
So for me, it was really like, I've done a good job with my sphere, the people that I knew. I realized that in a small town, digital marketing was great, but networking and getting to know people was huge. My business has been built off of trying to be a value-based agent. So I want to bring value to people. So whether that's making sure, I've supported local businesses in Aurelia that ended up costing me triple what it could have cost me if I outsourced it to Fiverr or wherever. But I've made a point of supporting my local businesses and talking about them. And when I didn't have a listing to advertise, I was advertising another business. I was trying to pump the people up around me. And so sort of that good faith, a lot of it just turned into some phone calls. And then as I honed in on my skills digitally, that just sort of took things to the next level. So people would call and say, I see your Facebook ads all the time. I love them. I want that for my house. And then when I got into video marketing, it was, that video was great. I want you to come and do a video like that at my house. And so that's sort of how it grew. Getting into the team aspect, I, like many agents, tried to get into the team thing probably before I should have. So one thing that I've learned through experience, when I wanted to become a team, people said, hire an admin first. And I was like, you don't get it. So I hired an agent first. And she didn't end up producing, and it was completely my fault. I hadn't built anything for her. I wanted a huge split from her, but I hadn't built anything for her. So I tried a few team things that didn't work. What I've realized is I didn't necessarily need a team of agents working for me. I needed a partnership. I'm strong and passionate about certain parts of the business, but there's areas where I'm really weak. And there's areas where I'm not, at least I'm not driven to be better in that area. And so a partnership was really the key for me. So I've recently partnered with Caleb Streeter. We're now Streeter Rossman. And Caleb has been a game changer in my business. We've only been in business together about 6 weeks now. But basically partnering with someone who is absolutely excellent at the things that I struggle with has been a key. So it wasn't just two agents who were friends who decided to sell real estate together. Caleb is the best I've ever seen at a lot of the things that I knew were my shortcomings. And I hope that I'm the same for him. And so that's sort of been the journey to now building a team together. We're a partnership. We're myself, Caleb, and Juliana, our assistant. We're going to be adding it this year, but really making sure we have that foundation and that we're set up to help a sales partner succeed is what we're working on right now.
So like, especially with partnerships, because it's tough, because it's like, maybe you come with, say you're hypothetically doing like 50 deals a year, they're coming in at like 30. I don't know what the split was, but like, how do you then decide as a partnership that it makes sense to go like, equal, and I don't know if you guys are equal partners, but like,
Yeah.
especially if you weren't coming in with the same amount of business.
Yeah. So we came from very different worlds, and so the way that we've structured it, and where I think maybe my observation of other not so successful partnerships, and hey, disclaimer,
6 weeks.
we may not be successful too, but I think we will, and here's the reason why. We're not, the reason I said before, we're not just two agents who decided to start selling.
Yeah.
So even if, you know, you mentioned an example of 50 deals versus 30,
Yeah.
agent versus agent, even if it's 51-49, I always thought the problem with a partnership would be that somebody was producing more than the other, and you're always going to have that
Yeah,
problem.
balance, yeah.
Where Caleb and I are hoping to be different, and where I think we're going to succeed, and we've modeled ours off of some really successful partnerships that we've followed down in the States, is that we do different things. We know right off the bat, Caleb is going to sell more homes than I am. Caleb is a master of doing that. My job is to market our listings, market our business. I'm sort of the guy who's out there trying to get the public as excited as possible about working with us.
The hype man.
Yeah, I'm the hype man. So I'm the hype man. They come in, you know, we filter them in, and so my job is to create the initial opportunities for the team. Caleb's job is to make sure that we are having the right conversations with the right people, and actually, if they want to work with us, making sure that we get them to work with us. And then from there, then the responsibilities are sort of separated into who's doing what.
Yeah.
So we're doing two very different things. We're not both just out there pounding the pavement selling homes. Eventually he'll be transitioning to selling. Right now we're probably selling 50-50, but we know that the trajectory of our business is going to result in Caleb and our sales partners selling a lot of homes. My role eventually will transition more to in the office, and then out in the public, doing events, marketing, those types of things, representing our business on that type of level. So I think that's going to be our key to success. Now the challenge is making sure that each of us sees the value in what the other person is doing. And as long as we have that going for us, then I know Caleb is doing things and is going to be doing things that I'm not capable of. He's that good. I thought I was really good in the listing presentation, and then I went to my first listing presentation with him and I was like, I'm pretty shit. And same thing, he sees when the thought process behind how we design our website and how we market to the public, and he's sort of impressed with that, and so that's sort of how we've structured it.
Makes sense. So what made you be like, okay, like there's a need that bit of help there on the like I want a partner? How much thought did you put into partnership versus just hiring like a really senior person, pay them well,
right,
let them take over from that end, as opposed to like giving up half?
Yeah, I've always been a believer that half of something special is going to be better than, you know, taking 80% of something that's so-so. I think that partners and business owners need to have serious skin in the game in order to be driven to build, or you hit that point where it doesn't make sense. Caleb was one of a few people. I hadn't given much real thought to partnership until Caleb and I started talking. He was on a very short list of people that I would have given up what I was building and the momentum I had been working on, sort of changed trajectories. But quite frankly, Caleb's that good. Like I know that what we're going to accomplish is only going to be possible because of the both of us, and it's 50-50 effort. So I know that what we could accomplish together is far greater than anything I could accomplish on my own, just leading people. And entrepreneurship is lonely. Like, it's really nice to have a teammate who is there to sort of build with you. We're going to go on this journey together.
So how much, like, do you want to grow the team? Like, do you have like a because like we talked to like some of our clients, you know, they're a couple agents. They're like, max I want as a team is like size of 5.
Right.
Then we deal with other clients who they have a team of 50.
Right.
Like, do you have that vision of like, here's where my ideal scenario, or you're just like, let's go as big as we can?
We want to grow sustainably, grow slowly. Right now, I would say we're lean and mean. I don't think we're in Aurelia, so
yeah.
you know, there's a limited amount of transactions. This cream soda is getting to me. We have a limited amount of transactions. So do we need 50 people? No. I think that we want to make sure that we're bringing on somebody when we feel like everyone on our team is sort of nearing capacity.
Yeah.
That's at least our philosophy at this point. We're years down the road from thinking whether we want to expand to another city or things like that. Right now, like Caleb and I are all in on Aurelia. That's our focus. Aurelia is a very sort of support local type of town, and so we are very much that. So we want to grow a team that is the right people.
No.
So if we find somebody that we think is the right fit for our culture and for our vision and what we want to accomplish, then we'll try and find a way to bring them on.
No.
So to answer your question, I don't think we're set on a number. We don't want to be big for the sake of being big. We don't want to have 20 agents who are producing nothing.
Yeah.
We want our people to be really successful. We want them to live the life that they want to live, and we need to make sure that we're in a position to have them be fulfilled and have a business that's ready for them to succeed in. So I don't see us having a ton of agents down the road, but we would never say we've hit our capacity to somebody who we think would be a great fit or addition to the team.
So what do you look for as people coming into the team? Like, what if you were like, okay, this would be the ideal agent to join us, what would that look like?
So right now, we've been sort of looking for salespeople. We want somebody that is coachable. We want somebody that's driven. Those are the two things that someone far wiser than I told me, is they need to be driven and they need to be coachable.
Yeah.
And so we've got our eye on someone right now. I can't release to the public his name yet, but this guy is that in a nutshell. He wants to succeed and he wants guidance.
Yeah.
He wants to be led and he wants to provide a great life for his family. So that's something that we're looking for. We don't, you know, we would look at an agent that's brand new and we would look at an agent that's been at it for 20 years. That to us is not the most important factor. Are they going to fit in with who we are? You know, if you don't like corny jokes, like we're going to have a...
Some pretty solid dad jokes?
Yeah, if you don't like dad jokes, we're going to have a problem here.
Yeah.
But we're looking for people that we enjoy spending time with, that want to work with us, and that want to be with us for a long time. Like we don't want to have that turnover that a lot of teams have, and so we'll grow really slowly to make sure that we don't get into these partnerships that maybe aren't the right fit for us.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So shifting gears a little bit, so like you're talking about like you handle the bringing people in, you're doing that with your show. So like that's basically like if I went back to sales, I would just do over a pint,
right,
but local. And that's basically what you're doing up there, just not over a pint.
Right.
So what led you to decide like that's the model that you want to go after?
The initial inspiration was Gary Vee.
Yeah.
Like so many people in our industry follow Gary Vee. He's the real deal. And he said, be your digital mayor. Then it got me thinking, you know, that was sort of the first seed that was planted. Why Aurelia initially was like a personal branding exercise. Yeah. Take something I'm passionate about and then take something that has a broad appeal for the audience. You know this as well as I do. Like as a real estate agent, I know that video content is really important. Creating video content around real estate can be really boring.
Yeah.
Like talking about what to look for in a home inspection and all of those sorts of things. I was doing those and I wasn't getting a lot of interaction. What I realized is Aurelia has 30,000 people. How many people, like if I'm watching a real estate video, it's because I'm in the process of buying or selling a home, or like about to, or just finished. It's this very specific time in people's lives. So you take Aurelia's 400-ish transactions so far year to date, and that's bigger than just the surrounding area, but let's say even 1,000. Take those people, the audience is small and they care for a bit and then they don't care anymore. And so talking about real estate was not a way to build an audience, and I wanted to build a real audience built off of genuine value and people caring about something. And it was like, what's one thing that everybody in a city cares about? The city. They care about the community. They care about the people. And so that mixed with the fact that people love to shit on Aurelia, and I love Aurelia, and I never understood it because the people are great and the businesses are great and the city is great. And so I said, this is something I'm really passionate about. It's something that hypothetically everyone in Aurelia could
get
something out of, and then bring value to local businesses. And so it's blown up. Like, it's been way more than I thought it was going to be, and it's been great for me professionally, but it's also given me a great sense of fulfillment in doing it.
So how many episodes have you done so far?
I just filmed this morning episode 32. So I made
right around the same number there.
Yes. So I made a pledge to do 100 episodes in 100 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm 32 for 32 right now.
Yeah, I've missed a few weeks.
That's all right. I actually missed episode 29. We did 28, and then the next week I said, "Hey everybody, welcome to episode 30 of
Oh, so I don't put numbers in them for that reason, like until I actually air it, because like I also sometimes mix up the orders. Like I'll film this one, I filmed 3 others that haven't been released. I have another couple coming up. I don't know the order I'm releasing them yet.
It's smart.
So
it's really smart.
Yeah, it's like how I don't announce the name of the next guest usually.
Right.
Because I'll just be like, stay tuned for whoever we have next week. Because I don't know the order, and half the time I don't have it booked.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I am going to learn from that.
Yeah.
So, so we just filmed episode 32. I've got 3 shoots booked for next week.
Yeah.
Because I need to stock some up over the holiday season. So here we are. And so, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Like, we've had some that have been really successful, some that haven't, and...
Have you found you've been like getting reached out doing these to like for someone to like sponsor the show, or are you getting requests for people to come on the show and things like that?
Yeah, so we get an insane amount of requests.
Yeah.
Like, I have my inbox full on the Why Aurelia page all the time. So we had to have an automated system of like fielding those and vetting them. And so that's sort of my assistant has taken that on. So we get a lot of requests.
Yeah.
We've had a few people approach us about sponsoring the show, which I have no interest in at this point. What's made the show successful in my mind is that it's authentic, and that it's me doing something that I wanted to do for my community that I love.
Yeah.
And when I throw a sponsorship behind that, especially if it's a sponsor that, let's say it's a chiropractor, and they're like, we don't want any other chiropractors on the show.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Right. So I learned from Joe Rogan, because on his podcast he's like, I talk to whoever I want, whenever I want, and that's my rule. Okay, and we talk about whatever we want to talk about. Yeah. And that's sort of how I've operated on it now. It's like, I'm talking to the people that I want to be talking to, and that's sort of
one that I ended up having to do, because we were getting a lot of people asking me on too, is I actually created like a page on like the back end of the site. There's just like an application page to be on.
Oh, perfect.
So like when you start getting
I think I did fill that out.
Not this time, maybe, because I put it in the group like a year, or not a year ago, because I haven't had the show a year, but like 20 weeks ago, I put it just in the group, and it's a great way to kind of like instead of like having that conversation of like trying to figure out, just like, here, fill this out and we'll chat.
Yeah.
Because you also lose a large amount of people who just like, okay, great, and then never fill it out.
Yes.
So you get rid of the not serious people.
Exactly. So we have, as part of our vetting process, send us a bio on yourself and links to all your social accounts. If you can't do that, then you can't be on the show.
And do you look at it based on like who has the followings that will then promote it to their audience, like prioritize that way?
Yeah, so we're now getting to the point, so we're closing in, I haven't looked in a few weeks, but we're closing in on 400,000 views so far, and a lot of watch time. And so we're now getting to the point where the audience is sort of, if I interview somebody who maybe doesn't have a big audience, people will bear with us, and they'll check it out and they'll watch it and they'll still share.
They're going to be interested.
Yeah, but in the beginning, it was really important to pick the right people.
Yeah.
You almost, in order to build your audience, you almost have to leverage other people's audiences.
Piggybacking off theirs.
I'm making a mess here.
Yeah, it goes right to your head.
So if you find somebody that's got a great audience, so we have this local pizza shop in town that I did their episode a few weeks ago. They have like such a great audience. In the Hewitt Sweet Corn episode that we did, they have an amazing following.
Yeah.
And those episodes did really well and got us a lot of new followers on our page because we were able to leverage their audience. It's sort of a mutually beneficial thing.
Are you doing it from the Streeter Rossman page, or do you have a Why Aurelia page specifically?
I have a Why Aurelia page.
Yeah.
For me, it was really important, and I've seen a lot of people do it different ways. The only thing, when I looked at community spotlights from real estate agents, the only thing that was a consistent theme to me is they weren't super successful, and they were all doing it from their business page.
Yeah.
I had to be quite frank in saying that if I wasn't looking to buy or sell a home, I don't care about real estate pages.
Yeah.
So it had to be something different. And if there's one thing I'm always nervous with in the show, is I'm really nervous about not promoting myself. I don't want to, it's not about my business. It's purely about the community. Through that, people have made the connection, but that's okay. That's sort of this organic connection. But I didn't want to, I didn't want to be bragging about myself while I was doing the episode. So totally separate pages, because their mission is totally separate inherently. And the Why Aurelia thing, I didn't know how it would take off, but I think the fact that it wasn't tied to a real estate agent, and it was just something for the community, has allowed it to sort of explode a little bit more than it may have.
Yeah, like that's one that I'm looking at doing. I'm just deciding, do I do it as an Over a Pint page, or the Andrew Fogliato? Because I have an Andrew Fogliato page,
right?
But I've done nothing with it. I just got it, so I had the domain.
Right.
I haven't done anything with it, so I'm trying to decide: do I do it as Over a Pint, and grow the Over a Pint, or just do it as like Andrew Fogliato, the personal brand for me? So I've been debating which route to go there, because I want to take it off the Just Sell Homes page.
Yeah, I don't know what the perfect answer is.
No, there really isn't.
No, but when I look at successful, like you look at really successful shows, some of them are, you look at like Casey Neistat or Peter McKinnon or those kinds of guys in the photography and vlogging world, that's their name. But then you look at Hot Ones. Like
which is what this was actually based off of originally.
Yeah. Did you see? So I did a Hot Ones themed episode. Our episode 5 is a guy who owns a amazing barbecue sauce company locally. So we went to Costco and got naked wings. And we put one of each, and just progressively getting hotter, and we ate them. So you look at Hot Ones. Now Hot Ones has built its brand, but what's the guy's name who?
What is his name?
Okay, here's the problem.
No one knows.
He hasn't built his personal brand in the same way that like a Casey Neistat has.
Yeah, but then the idea is he can sell it.
Yes.
Casey Neistat can't.
Right. If Casey Neistat
gets hit by a bus,
it's over.
Yeah, that's the end. Hot Ones gets hit by a bus, it might be over.
Yeah.
But you could potentially bring someone in.
That guy's a great interviewer, by the way. Like, he's the best I've ever seen.
I study him a bit because that's the big challenge is like being a good interviewer. It's hard. It's so hard.
Yeah. It really is. And that was something I totally underestimated when I started interviewing people, was it's hard to be a good interviewer. Yeah. If it's somebody that you know really well, you can strike up a conversation. But I've gotten into episodes where where we've run into trouble is when I didn't vet somebody and we get into an episode and I ask a question like, tell me what you do, and they're like, I own a store. And you're like, yeah. Okay, we're gonna have this kind of episode today.
Yeah, I've definitely had not brought a few people on who I'm like, they just would not be a good interview.
Right.
But like, so I actually got lucky. So because I'm pretty big on Twitter, not for work, I just personally enjoy it, especially the sports. It's basically like sports, and then watching the dumpster fire of U.S. politics is Twitter. Yes. And there's like a huge round of layoffs at ESPN. Okay. And this guy's like a producer on ESPN for like 25 years, got let go. And a writer I follow, Bill Simmons, was just like, this guy's awesome, shame he got let go. So I followed him. And he ended up deciding to like launch a how to interview people and like how to be a sportscaster business. Interesting. So I just sent him a message. I'm like, hey, if you want to like learn how to market this business, I'm happy to jump on a free call with you. Right. And so we jump on a call, start chatting. And it's funny, he's like, you're watching, he's dropping, he's like, oh, when I was hanging with Shannon Sharp. And like, he's dropping all the NFL names. Yes. Super, like, funny conversation. We're going through it. I was giving him advice on how to market. Like, he ended up setting up a website and, like, promoting it. And then, so like, when I started the show, I'm like, hey, can I pick your brain about interviewing people? Really? He jumped on for, like, an hour with me. And his, like, 25-year career at ESPN of, like, interviewing athletes and doing stuff like that.
So that's why this is going so well right now.
It helps. Well, it's great, too, because he's like, after you do a few episodes, send them my way and I'll watch them. I think he thought they'd be, like, 5 to 10 minutes long. Yeah, he didn't know what he was
probably
here's the 1 to 2 hour first episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely an art. It's something that I've been a sort of... I mean, you have your... I started like cataloging questions that did really well. And so now I have that sort of, for me it's all mental because I kind of like to wing things. Yeah. But I know the questions where like, if we're stalling, if the episode is kind of, I'm not feeling the love, I have those like 1 or 2 questions that just spark things back up. And so it's been a really fun ride doing this Why Really. I just got asked last night, I was speaking at Lakehead University on messaging for the community. It's really sort of taken my personal brand within the community to a different level.
Oh, it's huge. Like, even I noticed since this show launched, like, I just thought it'd be like a fun little side project too. Like, just the doors, like, even if nobody watched the show, the doors it's opened with people and like the opportunities it's pulled because of it has been huge.
If you only built relationships with the people you interviewed, it's already a success. Yeah. Whether people in the audience, it got me into trouble once though. Maybe I shouldn't. Anyways, I'll say it. So we were thinking about listing this building, and we were going through. It's a commercial building. And we're going through with the seller, and he's like, "Listen, I don't want to tell all my tenants yet that we're selling because." He was basing his decision off of the information we were going to give him, so he didn't know if he was in or out yet. So he's like, we'll just tell them you're bankers, right? And so we walk in, and he goes to the lady at reception, I just have some bankers with me to look at the building. And she goes, he's not a banker, he's a real estate agent who does Why Really. So I didn't get let into any of the other units in the building.
Makes sense. Yeah. But at least, you know, it's good proof that it works.
Yeah, it definitely works. I have conversations, great conversations every day with people about the show. And it's...
Well, that's the funny thing now, like when I go into a brokerage, and you'll see like, you get the few looks from people like, why do I know that guy's face? Yeah. And you can see that going, and then it clicks with someone. You're like, you're the drinking guy.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, yes.
You're the guy who loves cream soda.
Yeah, it's so good. That soda mousse just, it hits me. But yeah, it was like extra funny. We didn't actually get in trouble. It was funny. It was a negative comment first episode out because I had Tim Hudak on. Yes. And we drank at his office at Aria. So like we were having beers Friday afternoon in his office. First, like one of the first comments ever on an episode besides like the regular people who are like, love that you launched it. That type, like the first like true random comment. Oh, of course the CEO of Aria is drinking beer. No wonder the state of our education is so terrible because you're drinking on the job.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Some people just love to shit on things. Yeah. And what I love, to me, a successful show is when the person who's hosting it stays true to who they are and what they're passionate about. And like, I'm sure there's some people that don't like a video series with people drinking beer, but like, who cares? Like,
but that's why too. Like, I have the option that you don't have to drink on it. Like you know, one episode, like I had a kale smoothie. Like it's Like it's
okay. So I didn't bring the worst.
No, no. I drank a mango one that day, but we also filmed at 9 a.m. So it was like you can, Actually, we have drank earlier than that. One episode we filmed at 7:30 in the morning. And we actually did beer on that episode.
Beautiful. Yeah. That is commitment.
Yeah, it's committed to the brand.
If I drank beer on this episode, we'd have a real problem.
Yeah. It was funny because it was the least enthusiastic drinking on an episode ever because you're like, oh, I have the taste of toothpaste in my mouth.
Yeah, toothpaste and beer is not...
No, it's not a combo that is worth it.
No, I don't think it would be.
Yeah, it took us a while. That was one of the episodes where we only had one beer.
Yeah.
We're just like... We're good.
I'm gonna nurse this. And
yeah, I can let this go.
30 minutes.
Yeah. We don't need to keep going. Well, do you want to pop open the ginger beer?
Let's try it.
Let's see what this is like.
Let's try it.
All right.
Gingembre.
Yeah, we like to go fancy here.
Oh, that smells good.
Let's see what it's like.
So when I was picking these out, I was really looking for Dad's root beer. And upon your great suggestion, because I love Dad's root beer.
And you don't have it that often.
No.
Or I don't, at least.
And so, no, I don't. Cheers.
What is that like? Like, it's a little bit like ginger ale.
But spicy.
Yeah. That's weird.
That's it packs a real punch afterwards.
That is surprising. I've never had ginger beer before.
No.
Yeah, that's...
I don't think it's beer. No, it's just ginger beer.
Yeah, it's not like alcoholic.
No, it's really gingery. Really
yes,
gingery.
quite.
Yeah. That's good.
All right.
I think ginger's good for you though, right?
I've heard it is.
So this is pretty much a kale smoothie.
Yeah, we're going healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Health
keeping
foods.
it going. Maybe we'll top it up at some point, but...
Yeah, feel free, man. Yeah. Feel free.
So I've tried I got one here. I want to try something like maple bacon whiskey. I was like, I don't know what that's like. It could be terrible.
I feel like that would be good to put on, like as part of a recipe, too, to use it for...
Yeah, like that's probably where it'll be first tested.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'll probably
Or shots. Just shots, right?
I can't do shots anymore. It's a bad idea.
I think that's something that dies when you're, like, 22.
Yeah, I think, like, after university, I probably have done a couple shots here and there. Like, the bachelor party type of thing, but, man, I was actually at a conference, and people started doing shots at the last bar, and I just walked away. I'm like, good. Nope.
Yeah,
I literally just got up. Like, they went, a group of them got to the bar, I ghosted.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I got the shots out of my system in university, and then that's it.
Yeah, good.
Done with that.
Especially, you never want to be hungover with 2-year-olds and under in the house.
I can't imagine.
It's not fun.
I really can't imagine.
It's really not a good idea.
No, because they don't care.
No, and they're up early.
Yeah.
And they're loud.
Yep.
And you have to do stuff. Like, you can't just be like, just sit and watch TV. At that age, they don't sit and watch TV.
No, they need you.
Yeah, so it's... You make that mistake once.
Yeah.
Then you don't make it again.
This has like a... It actually, like, you feel it... Do you feel it going down here?
Yeah, it's like... It's weird.
It's like a better... I don't even want to say, like, Buckley's burns your... But this doesn't taste like Buckley's.
No.
I don't want to...
It would never sell again if it did.
I don't want to upset the famous island soda people.
The Grace... you're going to get them upset with you and...
Yeah, you're going to
shut your show down.
It's your show.
If you would like to sponsor future episodes... Because we've had sponsorship requests, too.
So what's your view on sponsorship?
So same idea of 100%, it would have to be like written in an agreement. You have zero control over content or any other decision related to the show.
Right.
I might let them on the show.
Right.
If I think they're interested.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't let them on and just be, tell me what you do and why you're awesome, right? Like,
right.
I wouldn't do that. But yeah, it'd have to be, I have 100% control, you have none.
Right.
Like, if I bring on your biggest competitor, I bring on your biggest competitor.
Yeah.
It can be sponsored by you still.
Right.
So I've thought about it, but, like, none have made sense enough that, like... Because, like, the only reason I think I would accept sponsorship is if it was, like, enough where I could bring in, like, a professional team to shoot it.
Yes, that's 100%. That's what I'd be spending the money on.
Yeah. That's where I think I would consider it. Yeah. And then it's also, like, which company... Like... Because I've had, like, a competitor of mine offer to sponsor it.
Right. That's
and I'm like,
not a good idea.
yeah. So like right now in my head, I'm more like, it's sponsored by Just Sell Homes.
Yes, that's the thing. So when I was reaching out to people to understand the whole question around sponsorship and whether it was a good idea, my initial gut, it's so easy to look at the temptation of money.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is now a profitable venture. Yeah. But do you lose the audience in doing that?
Yeah.
And then also, it's not only even like the being able to control what you're saying, but then having the accountability of performance.
Yeah.
Like, if I have an episode that doesn't do well,
yeah.
An episode that doesn't do well. Do
you put money behind every episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do a 7-day blast.
Me too.
Not a ton. It's not a ton of money.
I put $100.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. That's what I do. $100 an episode.
And then I have a rotating one that follows it. So I do $100 an episode for 1 week, and then I have a rotating spend. So basically, I upload so I do like one ad campaign, one ad set, but then I'll have every episode as an ad within that ad set. Okay. And then I just turn them on and off throughout. So I'll have at any point it rotating through like 5 of the greatest hits. Love it. And that just kind of keeps going to a $10 a day spend. So, and then like if an episode was received really well, it gets added into that, does the rotation for a while. Right. And we'll get up to 25,000 views an episode. Wow. That way pretty quick, so it works pretty well.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you know analytics better than I do, but the difference between the performance of my Why Aurelia, not even just the views, because you and I mean, you can buy views. Yeah. But you can't buy like average watch times. Yeah. And
that has to be good.
Yeah, you can't buy the conversations that you have with people who have seen your show. Yeah. And the performance, I spend money and I think do some pretty good real estate videos. None of them perform like my Why Aurelia videos.
And do you ever cross promote?
Yes. So that's a benefit professionally of having an audience. Yeah. Is you can build an audience of people who have watched X amount of Why Aurelia videos. So I don't do, when I cross promote or when I create an audience, my personal philosophy is I want to send things to people that are likely to enjoy it. So the fact that you've watched a Why Aurelia episode doesn't tell me that you're that interested in watching a real estate video. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But if I shoot, if we shot this episode here, and then next week I was standing here giving a market update, the aesthetic of this video might resonate with the people who watched the previous.
And you're retargeting video views?
Yes, so I'm retargeting video views, and I'm pretty early in the game to know if that's working.
Like that's
or not.
what we're doing. So like if you watch Over a Pint, you get retargeted. Now because of the length, I can't do 50%.
Right.
It's just too long. Right. Because like that's one that's an interesting one that we've noticed when I've been talking to people who watch. Very few people just sit down and watch the whole thing. Correct. They jump. Yeah. So like they'll watch like a couple minutes here, they'll jump ahead, watch a few minutes, and they just kind of keep going that route. So like one of the things we're going to be looking at is like making that easier by like showing where to jump to. Right. But that we're still figuring out what the best way to do that is.
Because there's point we talk about this.
Yeah. It's a hard one to like, because like, have you ever seen those ones where it like almost shows the counter? Yes. There's like a graphic on it. Yeah. We thought about doing that and then having like little ticks. So like here's where the next
so you got your progress bar?
Yeah, but that's a really hard one technically to set up. Yeah. And it's a pain in the butt. So that's where like if we accepted sponsorship, we would look at doing that. Right. So yeah, we'll do that. And then like the interesting one too, because a lot of video people want to target agents, we've also started getting videographers reaching out about doing an episode for us. Right. So that then they could reach our audience. But it's like, I don't want a guy to come in and do one episode. Right. Have like one huge quality episode and then go back for the rest of them.
Exactly. So I did that. My episode 20, I reached out to the community and I got a really high-end, really great videography crew that's like, we'll shoot your episode for free. Yeah. Great. Yeah. But then episode 19 was shot by me and I'm not a videographer. And episode 20 was like, a Hollywood movie, and then episode 21 was shot by me, and I'm not a videographer.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'm like, that's where I would look at a sponsorship of like, if someone could come in. But then the other downside of that is, I take it on the road. So like, because it's only in-person interviews, when I'm at a conference, that's prime filming time. Because I can get people I normally can't.
Right.
I can't be like, hey, let's fly out a whole crew to Banff.
Exactly, but you're in Banff and you're like, hey, can you give me 20 minutes?
And the funny thing about like when you're there is like you end up having to film a lot in like hotel rooms. Not all hotel rooms are set up well for filming.
No.
Like they're quite terrible.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, the lighting is tricky in them.
That's the biggest. So I actually did one in Aurelia at the Casino Rama.
Yes, with Drew.
Yeah, and we were filming and we used the light. So we just sat like, say this was like the window. We just sat here.
Right.
But we started filming at about 4:15.
Yeah, so it was dark at the end.
Yeah, and we just didn't think about it because like you're just naturally adjusting to the light, and by the end of the episode, it's just dark.
Yeah, we had that in my episode today. Yeah. The light in my office comes through this really like weird path early in the morning. Yeah. And it was just like, so at the beginning of the episode, the light there's like glare right here, and it just is like going there.
Yeah, so. It's funny how like, and then actually the interesting thing, because we do alcohol, is we're only allowed to film in so many places. Right. So I was there was a guy, I was going to him because he was big, couldn't make it his way out here, so I went to him. And he lives in Mississauga. So I went to my assistant, like, find me somewhere to film in Mississauga. The only place they could find was a community center. But to do a community center with beer, I had to get a special occasion liquor permit and to hire a Smart Serve certified person to come and serve us the beer. Wow. Just to do the episode.
That's commitment.
So we didn't do it. Okay. So we ended up getting an agent to give us a house near there.
Oh, that's perfect.
I was like, this is great. You get a little promotion of the backyard.
You got it.
Worked out.
Yeah, that's... oh, I think I remember that one. Yeah, that's a tough aspect that I didn't consider. We kind of... Yeah, that's the thing. We take our show on the road. Yeah. Wherever you work is where we'll come. And
that's why I have like the really compact camera. Yeah. Because it just fits right into my backpack really nicely, and then those rest of the pieces come apart, slide away, and I can literally throw on my back and go.
I love it.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
It's fun, and it's one of those things where you realize, and you're doing a good job of it in the fact that like you can't let the production slow you down. You just go and you figure things out. I mean, you didn't always have this really bright light that's making this all look good.
Yeah, it's like this will be the second episode with the light.
Yeah, you add things and you adapt and you grow and it's just a matter of getting started.
Yeah, I think I'll eventually too there's a travel version of that light. I think I'm gonna find that because like the other thing is I don't like checking bags. Right. So I have to have everything would be carry-on friendly.
Interesting. So, I'm the opposite, by the way. I want to check.
But you're local. You can just put it in your car.
Yeah, I don't fly with all my stuff.
Like, but I got to go to Banff in January.
A dream to me is when I get to walk through the airport with nothing. Yeah. I have my phone and my passport in my pocket, and I just walk through the airport.
I've done that, but it's like you're in and out. So it's like I went to Chicago for a meeting at NAR.
You're like a businessman.
You're in and out the day, yeah. Like in and out same day is fine. Yeah. But like Banff, like I will carry on only and bring my gear, but like I'm going to be pretty tight. Yes. And yeah, you can't just...
How did you get... Like, with Over the Pint, what was it like for you to get started? Because getting started for me is like the biggest thing. Like, actually taking it from... If there's one thing that drives me nuts when it comes to like this video series or really anything in business, so many people have this idea to do this.
Everyone has ideas.
Ideas, like, okay, like... I came up with my Why Aurelia concept, but like it wasn't an original idea to interview local business owners. Yeah. It's the execution of actually going to do it.
This is the super not original idea.
Yeah, it's none of this is what I do is not original idea. What you're doing is not original idea. What sets you apart and what's given you the success of your show and what's done the same for me is the fact that we're doing it.
Yeah. So that's like, and I learned that early in my career. So actually when I was selling, I think I might have even told this story on here, is I was at a table in my office and like a bunch of people were talking about, because someone in the office had a power of sale listing. And these people at the table spent like half an hour plus just talking about like, how do you even get that? Right. So I just closed my laptop, drove to the bank and asked. Right. And ended up becoming the bank's agent. Like, it was that simple. I just got up and did it.
Doing it.
So that was the thing. I made up my mind to do the show. I think it was... I made, okay, I'm going to do the show. It took me about a week to come up with the name. Because originally it was like only over craft beer.
Right.
So I was more thinking of like using the word craft.
Right.
Like honing your craft of marketing, but craft of marketing was a podcast already by a guy named Seth Price.
Right.
So I couldn't do that. So I was like, okay, how, and I kept going like craft, like some type of play on that word.
Right.
Came up with Over a Pint instead. And I was just like, yep, Over a Pint, that's it. And I think it was like, that was on like the Tuesday I like finalized the name. Mm-hmm. The next Friday I was in Tim Hudak's office shooting. Like it was just like, let's just do it.
For me it was, I was at a conference, a real estate conference in Austin in end of 2016. And I was talking to one of the guys who worked for the company, and he's like, dude, you got to do a community series. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know, because everyone was talking about that. And I'm like, he goes, tell me about your city. And I said, there's one thing that drives me nuts about Aurelia is people say bad things about it, and I don't think that's true. And he goes, and he's from Boston, he's like, well, you need to make a show called Why Aurelia. He couldn't say Aurelia, but I'm like, okay. And then that like festered in my mind. But when it was time to pull the trigger, there's no better way to get an audience than just like, or start the show. I just cold emailed 10 people that I thought might be interested.
I didn't even, like, mine was just, he was the first person I asked. I was just like, I
want to do this.
I wanted to start with someone big who instantly added legitimacy to the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he had just joined, the reality conference was coming up not long after that.
Yeah.
And I have some good friends who work at Aurelia. So I messaged them, I'm like, I want Tim on my show. What do we got to do to make it happen? And she's like, leave it with me. And then the next week I was in his office doing the show. So
it's amazing. And then you are accountable to your audience that watched it. That you have to
do every week. Like, there's been a few, like, I was trying to do it every week, and I remember, like, I was driving up to Ottawa for an event. I had 4 lined up over 2 days, which is about the max you can do when you're drinking. Yes. And on the drive up to Ottawa, I got sick. And I just holed up in my hotel room. But that's a month's worth of content gone. Because I was just sick and quarantined in my hotel room.
Wow.
So I was like, Chris, then I'm not having some episodes go out for a bit. So now I'm trying to, like, so I've actually stopped releasing any episodes the rest of this year. Mm-hmm. And we're going to hold back, try and film a bunch of episodes.
Yes. And
then just have that built up. Then, like, when I go to, like, the Banff conference, I'm going to try and probably film another. I got one already for sure lined up.
That's a key. Like, we launched May 5th, and I had 4 episodes recorded by May 5th. So I knew that...
Yeah. It's also dangerous, though, too, because then you get comfortable. You're like, oh, I got a month's worth. I can take a week or 2 off, and you got to keep...
I fell into that. There's also... I launch every Wednesday. We put our episode out. Yeah. There's days where I've shot the episode Wednesday morning and put it out Wednesday afternoon. Yeah,
most, like, especially, I'd say the first 15 episodes, every single one was shot, and then Sunday afternoon, I'd put my daughter down for a nap, I'd go into my office, edit it, and it'd go up Monday.
Yeah.
And that was just the cycle I did. But, like, now I want to have a full marketing behind it, so I want to have, like, at least 3 weeks lead time after the episode's edited.
Right.
To that pull content out.
Yeah.
Because I want to do the Gary Vee model of, like, let's have 20, 30, 40 pieces of content for each episode.
Yes.
So that's kind of like that next step up.
And that's where the longer form episodes do well. You maybe don't expect people to watch an hour episode.
I figured early on, max, I'd get like 2 people who would watch an episode all the way through.
Yep.
I never expected people to... I mean, the amount of people that watch it all the way through still surprises me. Because it's long. Like, it's but the longest was 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like, that's a movie.
It is, yeah. But if it's interesting, people watch it. It's like a movie. Mm-hmm. If it's a shitty movie, you don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
But if it's great, like, The Dark Knight could have been 6 hours, and I would have watched the whole thing. Yeah. And been really excited about it. And I have no problem getting through a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast. Because it's interesting. And same thing with this one. Yeah. I've probably padded your stats a bit.
Yeah, but it's funny because, like, you get, like, pretty consistent. And then, like, the other side of it is, like, you get a lot of people who watch who never engage. Like, I've like, people come to your conferences and talk, like, they've seen every episode all the way through. And they've never even liked it.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, what do I got to do to, like, get engagement up on that end of, like, these people engaging? Because that obviously helps you promote it more. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's an interesting fun. And then the retargeting side of it, that's where it's shot us up.
Yes.
Because we now book sales calls off of retargeting for about $5 to $7 a call.
Wow.
So it's huge.
Yeah.
So it's been big.
Yeah, it's a game changer for your business too, and that's what people But that's the tactful way to grow it through your business.
Yeah.
If we were just like, just sell homes, just sell homes, just sell homes, just sell homes, people might not watch this episode. As
I had someone on my episode who, like, I kept talking about him, and he was coming on to do me a favor.
Right.
So he actually made a point of, like, tell me about your business. I'm like, that's not what we're here for. And just kept going about him. Because I'm like, you know, generally, if you're watching what I do, or you'll figure it out. Exactly.
Yeah, if you're interested, then yeah. So maybe no one will watch this episode, though. Who knows?
It's possible. You never know.
Just don't want to be like bottom of the stat sheet.
So you won't be, because one episode... So Facebook actually won't let you promote a video if they're swearing.
Oh.
But they don't check past a certain point.
Okay, I think we waited a certain point.
Yeah, whereas one episode, because normally what I do is I take like one at least like semi-funny part or something like that.
Yep.
Do like a 5-10 second clip, put it before the intro as like a hook.
Right.
Then the intro. And the part that I put before had 3 swear words in it. Facebook caught it right away, would not let me put $1 behind the episode.
Okay.
So we have one episode that's sitting at about 400 or 500 views.
Okay, perfect.
Because just nobody watched it because it could not be promoted.
So just cut all of our swear words out?
Yeah. Oh no, I still leave them in because I found as long as they're past like the 5-10 minute mark, Facebook doesn't catch it.
Perfect.
So I was like, all right,
great.
Yeah. So I'd make a point now of not like swearing too much. I still swear because it's just more natural. Like every now and then I swear.
Yeah, we're just having a conversation.
Yeah, like, especially when you get a few beers in you and
yeah.
Yeah.
This ginger beer.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I go back, it's a weird aftertaste. That's where it's hitting me as like the...
It's kind of, yeah,
it's weird.
I don't know that I love it. Like, I'll keep sipping on it. I kind of like the initial, you're right, it's the aftertaste.
It's not one I would buy.
No.
Probably ever.
This, though...
That was good.
Really, I liked it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I do like cream soda and chicken fingers.
I do like cream soda. I haven't had it since I was like 12, but it's good. That was an excellent one. Ginger beer I would never buy again, probably.
No.
If it was offered and it was there, I might.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm thirsty, I'm going to drink this. But I think it's really spicy.
Yeah, that's the, well, I don't know about really, but maybe I'm also just, I love spicy stuff. So, yeah, that's the review, official review of this episode.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Superstore?
When you say Superstore, do you mean like Walmart?
Superstore?
Oh no, I thought you meant Walmart Supercenter. So I went to Walmart.
So at the Yonge and Green Lane, there was a Superstore.
Okay.
Like the Loblaw Superstore.
After my 3rd grocery store, I was like, I'm just getting something. Yeah, it was this or Brio, and I'm not a Brio guy, so.
Yeah, that's not very good.
No.
I think when I was like, because like obviously I have the Italian background. I think when I was young, I drank
no
it
offense.
as like no, like I don't even like it. But when I was young, I drank it as like Italy, like trying to like be proud of where I was from.
You
and I'm like,
didn't like it.
I think I convinced myself that I liked it.
Right.
And then like I hadn't had it for like 10 years. And I drank. I'm like, why did I ever like this? This is terrible.
It's actually, that reminds me of a point about sort of entrepreneurship in this journey is like, was there a point for you that you felt like, when you were just saying that, it's like, to me I'm thinking at some point you gave yourself permission to be honest, that you didn't like something. And where my whole world changed is when I felt like I was given permission to be creative and whether I gave myself that permission or some other people that I've followed in the industry gave me permission, my own mental permission of like, no, I can do a real estate video that's a little bit different from what I've seen. Or
I don't know when that point happened. I mean, one thing that frustrated me when I was the agent, and I was a pretty tame, like my first video was the difference between a client and a customer, and I'm talking about like just terrible topic. Like fiduciary duty, like awful videos. Right. Then I went to like Remax and worked for them. And actually, like, the people there are awesome, but like you can't do certain things, and you have to be careful. Like, I remember I got crap one time because I made like a reference to like, don't treat leads just like another notch in your bedpost. Right. And just that expression of notch in your bedpost, I got like a. I'm like, and like now, it's like when I first started this, I was a little bit hesitant to like go too far, but then like a really good one was recently I was asked to speak at an event. And it was a friend of mine who asked me to speak at it. And it was still like a paid speaking event. So they're paying a pretty good number to have me there. But because it was a friend, I'm like, do you mind if I like really embrace my humor
Right.
And go in. And she's like, yeah, do it. So I get up on, and as I'm walking up on stage, the CEO of the brand, like major, like CEO's front row, 2 feet, and I'm like walking up, I'm like, I got dick jokes in here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I had that brief moment of like,
do I bail on everything I just planned?
Yeah, do I like tone this down quite a bit? Like I had a Rick and Morty slide. Like I went out like Morty or Rick's dissecting a rat in my slide.
Perfect.
And I'm like, nope, I'm going for it. So I get up, like literally see, I was like, 3 feet ahead of me. I'm doing dick jokes, poop jokes, Seinfeld references, Rick and Morty references. I went for it. He was laughing the whole time. Like
when you're
ended up just working.
Yeah.
And that was when it really clicked of like, yeah, I'm just gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah. You know that super cliche line in real estate of being like your authentic self? Yeah. Where it's like it doesn't do it for people anymore because everybody uses it.
Well, it's like deliver value, right? Like everybody says it so much, it's been overdone.
Yeah. But there's some truth to that.
Well, that's why I got big originally.
Exactly. Yeah. So being like just bringing your style.
Yeah.
I went to this conference a while ago, and someone in this mastermind group was like, "What's the dress code for the conference?" And the best answer was from the CEO. He's like, "Just do you. That's it. Just be you." And that's.
I got like Heidi, who works for me. She did a speaking tour with me where she basically followed. It was a test we were doing of what if I brought someone to all my gigs to promote on social while I was doing it.
Right.
And so we did test. She's like, by the end of it, she's like, I could just do it, but it's the same jokes every time. Like, when you find one that works,
just use
you go
it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'd say like I kind of go with an 80-20 rule of 80%'s roughly the same, and I always try 20% new, even if it's the same presentation.
Yes.
To try and like see what else I can do.
Yeah, if there's a joke that gets people to laugh every single time.
The problem though is making sure you don't say to the same place again or to the same audience.
Right.
And I've actually made that mistake before. But like I did one at NAR, and it was just like, it was actually unplanned. I had a joke that just completely landed.
Right.
It only works as a Canadian visiting the U.S.
Right.
But I'm like, I can't wait to use it again. But I'm like, it can't be to anyone that was in that room.
Right.
Or it's done.
I need the guest list, please.
Yeah. Were you at Boston? Oh, yeah. No, you're not allowed in.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, you're out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun figuring out that side of it. But yeah, speaking, it's so different too. Like, and even for agents, there's a lot of value there. Like, you look at like Anthony Brown out in Halifax. He could charge $5,000 easy to go speak at conferences based on like the quality. He charges nothing,
right?
Because he knows he gets 5 to 6 referrals for every time he speaks.
Wow!
And he's got it dialed in now.
Wow!
So it's like like, just another way for him. It's lead gen basically. Like it's huge.
Yeah, just spending an hour, hour or two plus travel time to get that's pretty good.
Oh no, he's Halifax. I mean, it's like every event he does, he's flying and spending days.
Wow!
But yeah, it's interesting.
If you're getting those referrals, it's
if you get 5 to 6 referrals, perfect.
Cool. All right, so we're back after
technical
difficulties.
Yeah, we're good. I just ran out of room.
Yeah,
we're good. And then the dogs decided to join us.
We have a dog now,
which would be about her 4th episode, I think, if she actually ended up on camera.
I love dogs.
Yeah, it was funny. There was one that we did where we sat on the couch. And just because of the way cuts happened, she's not on the couch 1 second, and then she's
Gone.
Sitting next to someone on the couch. Like there's no attempt to see
quick
it.
dog.
Yeah, just fast. You didn't see it, and she was like full like on her back being petted. I was like, you just worked it.
Yeah, exactly. It can't always be perfect.
So do you watch Hot Ones regularly?
I haven't watched it in about a month or so because I've just been so busy.
I haven't either, but like I used to love how we did the things where it's like Instagram deep dive where like pull turns.
Yes.
He's just got like these. I tried doing that, and I always forget to keep going. So like I did one series. I think it only lasted 3 episodes because I just forgot to ask it in like the next 10.
Right.
Of like, what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you on a showing? And I started like doing stuff like that. And literally it just turned into I just forgot to do it, and then so it wasn't a thing anymore.
I had a couple of those. We were doing, on our show, I was trying to find a way to mention my business a little bit more, but in a tactful way. This did not end up working. It made it 2 episodes in, but we were doing Make Your House a Home. Yeah. So like halfway through the episode, it would be like they would just cut to music, and there would be this little intro, and then it was
commercial break.
Basically a commercial break. Yeah. And it was going to be a tip from whoever I was interviewing on how what they do could help somebody around the home. So if it was a chiropractor, it could be 3 stretches you could do at home in the morning. If it was I did a guy who does window cleaning, like how you could do some maintenance. But anything where I've mentioned my business has been a failure in that show.
So because I've done this now a lot, between this and because even being on stage is similar, is you have to throw it in with a story related to what you're talking about. Right. So like I'll just even if I'm talking about Facebook ads on stage, I will go so this is how we do this. I'll point something we did this for a client. Right. To do this. So it puts that seed in their head of, oh, he does take on clients to do this. I should talk to him about taking me on. Exactly. And then you just keep going. But it's just those little subtle
exactly. So
cues.
And those are the only times where it's worked for me is like you said. So when someone will say, the community is X, Y, and Z or whatever, it's when I was growing my business, I noticed the same thing. And it's been a great...
Well, even little things if you're at the shop on a street, you'd be like, yeah, I know, I drove by this so many times because we put a client into a house nearby, and I kept seeing your sign and being like, I should go check it out.
You're a smart guy.
Right? You frame it that way with includes. I used to do this in Facebook groups, or I would go into the community groups and be like, hey, a client of mine just bought a home. Or I'd be like, I just helped a client buy a home in this neighborhood. Their anniversary's coming up. What are some romantic restaurants in the area? Instead of just asking what are the romantic restaurants in the area, I pre-framed with clients I just helped move into the area. And, here they are, and
I like that.
He's a real estate agent.
What do you think from a digital perspective, or just in the way that you help clients? What do you think real estate agents struggle with the most?
The most?
I know they struggle with a lot of things.
Picking up the damn phone. Our biggest turnover is lead conversion issues. Right. And most of it is they're just not calling. Right. I think it was Realtor.com did it, and Zillow's now done it, and a couple others have released studies on it. And they're all in the same range. Between 40 to 46% of online leads are just never contacted. Then why are you paying thousands of dollars to generate these leads?
I feel like there's varying degrees of success, and there's different ways to do it, and I know that you do a great job for your clients. Lead gen is not the problem.
No, and it's easy. Once you know the formula,
you just plug and play. And you want more leads, you put more money behind it, or you run more ads.
But that's one way, because the other way is what we're doing. You're doing it I'm doing it over a pint. Right. That's the long-term lead gen play.
Well, this play is exactly. This doesn't put phone numbers in your database, but this builds long-term trust and a relationship.
And if you run a retargeting ad, it does put them in for really cheap that are really warm.
Yes, exactly. People who are willing to talk to you, who know you, who you're having better conversations. But I think I would agree. I see a lot of agents. I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing that I see agents struggle with, and I've struggled with it too on many things, is, like I was saying earlier, just not getting started, not doing...
Yeah, but that's the same as picking up the phone.
Talk about
picking it up.
Right. Yeah. They're just not doing anything. They're not doing the right things. And when you see the ultra successful, it's so easy when you look at the ultra successful agent and you say, I could never get from where I am to where they are, and well, they must have been special, or no, they did things. They picked up the phone.
Well, it's an interesting one, especially going to a ton of conferences, and people always talk, and people have talking about the big producers. How many times I've heard people say, but that person's so dumb, I don't understand how they're successful.
Oh, I love that.
And I hear it, I think that now, I've tried to, filter a lot of those people out of my circle. Yes. But especially early on when I was, getting into it, it came up so many times where people are just he's so dumb, she's so dumb, how are they successful? And you're because they're doing it. You don't have to be smart.
No, I always joke and say real estate's the only industry in the world where I could be as successful as I am because I'm not smart enough to do anything else. But you're right in the fact that that was a big game changer for me, is when I looked at people who were successful and I'm instead of having that loser mentality of they're so dumb I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like they're not like there's not a huge gap in between us. Yeah. There is in our actions, maybe not in our intellect. Yeah. So if I do those actions, I can have what they have.
Like I was in a room earlier this year, and like I was by far the poorest person in the room. Like it was like 7-8 figure earners, all doing like agency stuff, not in real estate, but like digital marketing agency type of businesses, 7-8 figures, all of them. And they're all talking, and I'm like, I don't think anyone here is specifically smarter than me.
Right.
Like definitely some are, but not at a point where like that's the difference as to why you're successful.
The difference is in the things that they do consistently.
Yeah. And they just keep doing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did the right things every day for a long time.
Yeah. And I find some people also go like too far one way or the other. So like some people focus way too much on lead gen. Yes. And then they don't focus on what happens when you get the client.
Right.
Other people focus way too much on what happens when you get the client and ignore lead gen, but then it ends up that they don't have any clients to deal with.
Right.
So there's that both, like that's also where like you need to have like teams and
that's where I think the opportunity is for teams, and the fact that I can handle one thing and Caleb's going to handle another side of things. And I think in our business it's about getting less leads but better leads. I don't need 300, in the glory days 2 years ago I was getting 300 emails off of a listing. Yeah. But I didn't have the capacity to follow up with 300 people. Yeah. So that turns into wasted money and wasted time. And as a matter of fact, then they're in your database and you're not collecting their information at the right time. Yeah. They just become stale. And
that's where like a good email follow-up. Like I think emails are a really underrated thing for people in the industry that they need to use more.
It's free.
Yeah, and it's easy.
Yeah.
Like it's like literally one of our successful emails we ever sent was the Dean Jackson 9-word email.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
one email.
Every email that you send should end in either a good conversation with a potential buyer or seller or unsubscribe. Yeah. Like I don't get discouraged by unsubscribe. It's like great, I'm narrowing down, I'm whittling away in my database who I need to be talking to.
It's funny right now, we have a client we're working with right now, had a massive list, like over 10,000 people on it. And we actually just ran a campaign for him where we actually lost 10,000 people off his list, and we're happy about it.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. They were all, like some of them have been on it 10 years.
Yeah.
They haven't opened an email in 5 years.
Yeah. I'm about to send an email, and I've sent it a couple years ago, where the subject line is, should we take you off our list? Yeah. If somebody says yes, then great. Now I don't have to worry about this person. Yeah. If somebody says no, that's them putting their hand up to like, please
what would you like to know about?
Yeah, please keep contacting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some, like, and I had an interesting one like too when I was selling, I got a lead, and I was like that, never stop following up.
Right.
That was my mentality at the time. I had a great system. It was an Excel spreadsheet with a date. It was like their name, contact info, next time I'm going to call them, and maybe a note thing. That was my CRM, was Excel. Yeah. And I'd literally just go into like my Google Calendar and be like, call them this day. Right. And at one point, like I'd had this conversation with them for like 6 straight months, and then she went dark on me for 8 months straight. Like didn't answer a call, text, email, voicemail, anything. And then out of nowhere, hey, really appreciate you following up with me all this time, even though I've been quiet. I'm ready. Let's go. Yeah. I was like,
that's the thing. There's so many people. I have clients that I've been in contact with for years, like that, and like, it's the tenacity that's the difference.
Yeah. But it's not.
It's pretty cool.
It's even you don't have to be like hard sell about it either. Just nice, like, hey, just checking in.
Yep.
What are you up to?
Yeah. Hey,
anything I can help you with?
Yeah, so we're trying, that's a big thing we're trying to do, is trying to keep things personal and just checking in. So making personal notes about people, whether it's like, hey, past client that loves cars. Yeah. Go to a used bookstore, find a book on cars for $5. Hey John, was walking through a bookstore the other day, saw this and thought of you.
Have you ever read Michael Port's Book Yourself Solid?
No.
That's one of his, like, one of the things that he talks about doing, and I did it for a bit, it works so well, and I also do it's like articles online.
Yeah.
And I started doing this myself. Yeah, like, hey, I read this article about this topic you mentioned in a showing one time. Thought you'd find it interesting. Here you go. I do that all the time.
That stuff wins, like, big time.
With business owners, that works well, too, is subscribe to Help a Reporter Out. So, I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
So, it's called Help a Reporter Out. Basically, reporters go in and be like, hey, I need something for this story. I need a real estate agent who knows about the Aurelia market, who contact me if you can answer these questions, and we need a source. And they'll quote you, they'll put your name, they'll link back to your site.
Really?
And it's just, no, it's mostly American. So like the odds of them being like the Aurelia market, but they'll be like, Realtor.com will be like, I need an agent to comment about this.
Right.
And you respond. So like what I do is like, if I see something for someone else, just copy it and send it to them and be like, hey, there's a reporter looking for someone who can provide a quote on this. I thought you'd be great for it.
That's the modern version of providing real value. Like, the value add agent is like, bring something to my life.
Yeah.
Bring something to your people's, you know, your clients and your sphere.
Yeah.
Bring something that's actually value to them.
Yeah.
Not just your real estate tips on the difference between a client and a customer.
Yeah, no one cares about that at all. Like, it's a terrible video. Like, it's one of the, like, I gotta find it, because it's somewhere lurking.
I did a mashup of some of my old videos versus new videos.
Yeah.
And so my first ever video was November 2015.
Yeah.
It took me 152 takes, I think. I had a GoPro sitting on top of books. I didn't know how to take the fisheye effect off either. I had this massive fisheye, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, hello, this is Jordan Rossman from Century 21 PJ Roth. Here is your market update.
So mine was, this was like a stack of books, and then I had an iPad, but it was leaned back, so it's like looking up at me, like up my nose, and I'm like, so there's a thing called, and I just like went into that, and I was like, client versus customer, then like literally 40 seconds on fiduciary duty.
Yeah.
And I was like, with the exception of maybe I said duty a lot, I don't think anyone would enjoy anything about that video.
Yeah, that's the thing with those, is really doing something that people care about, and wrapping your head around the fact that real estate is boring to a lot of people, unless they're in it. Like, sure, that video on client versus customer, nobody cared, but one person may have cared very deeply about it. Yeah. But it's not a like scalable strategy
at all
of trying to get lucky that you really hit a home run with one person.
Yeah, like, there's no value in that.
But the value in that is the fact that you got started and you were doing videos, and all of that prepped you for the journey of now being here.
Yeah, on the now big, I'm max 2 or 3 takes on anything and just
do it. Yeah, you just get it out there.
Do you script?
Script my real estate videos or my Why Aurelia?
Any of them.
No.
Yeah,
I didn't have to clarify.
So like I've tried it. Like I remember, so I used to just set like my, because like you can get like teleprompter apps on your phone. I'd like set it on top of the camera and just like sandwich it under the mic. You can tell those videos where I'm like, because you can see my eyes doing this.
So I have, for my Why Aurelia videos, I have this general idea of how it's going to go, and it's similar to this. We're just having a conversation. For real estate, I may script the first line.
Yeah.
I will definitely in advance have a feel for what the video needs to look like.
Yeah.
If I'm doing a top 3 reasons, I'll know my top 3 reasons, but the actual words, is whatever comes out, is what comes out. But we'll do a, you know, I'll have, the big difference for me on real estate videos has been videographers, for the most part. The really good ones, like the one I use is excellent, but they do a lot of houses and they do a lot of stuff, and so they come in, and if you just say, okay, here's the house, shoot it, every video looks the same. Yeah. So a big game changer for me is I guide them. Guys, I want you to take a shot of this way, and I want to get this sort of feel in the video, and I want you to make sure, like, don't worry about this room, and this room. Focus on this stuff, and here's the things I want to talk about.
That's a mistake people make with listing videos, is they show the entire house.
Right.
You don't need to.
So
I think of it like a movie trailer.
Dude, have you been watching my stuff?
No, not at all.
Okay, so
I'm joking.
Have you been listening to my listing presentation?
Yeah.
Ours is the way we position it is walking through this house is the movie.
Yeah.
Our job is to create the trailer. Okay. So if you see a really crappy trailer, like there's no way it's hard to have a bad movie trailer.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be a great trailer, and so that's what a listing video is. It's meant to get people through. Foot traffic is what sells houses. Yeah. And you could have the greatest Facebook ads in the world, you could have the greatest videos. If people aren't walking through the house, they're not going to buy the house. Yeah. So that's the goal.
And like that, so when I was selling, no one in my market was doing videos. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm going to do a video, and I didn't even have any listings. So I went to someone in my office, I'm like, I will pay for it. I want to do, so I just have this example. She's like, sure, take a full video of my property for me. But it was like every room, like the long sweeping shot, and then it would just turn to the next room, long sweeping shot. Yeah. Walk to that, and just like those continuous. I'm like, yeah, that was dull. Like, but it looked better than what anyone else was doing. You did it. Yeah.
You got it out. You made the mental note that was kind of dull. Yeah. You then to the next one, you said, okay, well maybe we can do this. Mm-hmm. Maybe we don't need to show every room. Maybe we don't need to do that. And that's how it gets better. It's incremental change. People want to go from their first video ever to like a video superstar. Yeah. And
you gotta have a lot of crappy ones in there.
Yeah, exactly, and be okay with the crappy ones.
Yeah. Well, they're funny now.
Yeah, exactly. It makes for good content, good blooper reels. Amy Youngren shared a great line with me in Boston earlier this year that I think she got from her coach or something like that, but it was, my shitty video will always outperform your non-existent video. Oh yeah. And that's the bottom line. Like, just get it out there. There's so many people that probably could have beat me to the punch on a community video series, but maybe they were worried about production quality, or they were worried about whatever.
Paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, they got all the excuses in their mind. They weren't doing anything. My videos, like the audio in half of them sucks, and the video quality, like sometimes we have technical difficulties.
My first one, the camera died.
Yeah, perfect.
So my brother, who happened to come with me, literally whipped out his iPhone. The second half of the Tim Who Died video is just my brother holding his iPhone like this. Yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, I just edited them together.
Yeah, and it's just you got out and you did it, and that's why you're winning in this area, is because you didn't get distracted by, and then you add things over time. So.
Like it was an interesting one. We did an episode recently, it hasn't aired yet, and we went maybe 25 minutes. And I look over, I'm like, why is the sound bar not moving? I forgot to turn on the mic, because once you plug in the external mic,
right,
you have to turn that on separately.
Right.
And so we just filmed 25 minutes of the episode, zero sound. I'm like,
perfect.
Oh no. So I'm like, sorry man. He goes, it's cool. Turned it on. Welcome to Over a Pint. Start it over again.
Yeah, that's you just play it by ear. Like, people don't expect us to be videographers. Yeah. It's not about watching a movie here. It's about the conversation and the dialogue. And so you definitely have to record the audio.
Yeah, it helps. That's it. You don't have to be perfect. Like, you just make it happen and
exactly.
Do it.
If this is how we shot this whole video, that would be better than the competitors of yours that aren't doing interviews.
Yeah. Which is like almost none.
Right, exactly.
It's easy. And then like I just do like fun stuff. Like I came up with this idea and like literally like from the moment I thought, you know what'd be cool to have a glass, 2 weeks later I had 48 of them.
Perfect.
Like it was just like,
and I got one.
Yeah.
I have one that's going to be
pit
mine.
stains and all.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Too bad it has this really shitty ginger beer in it.
I know.
I feel bad for this cup to have to hold that.
Sorry, we'll wash it. But
yeah, so I'm probably not going to finish that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Awesome.
That works well. I really appreciate you coming on.
Nailed it, man. This has been a real pleasure. I thank you for having me into your home.
Thanks for driving on down.
Of course.
If anyone wants to reach out to you, have questions for you, how do they get a hold of you? Okay,
so you can find me on Instagram at Jordan, Jordane, Rossman, Rossman. Phone number 705-345-0797. You can, find me on Facebook, the Why Really Show, whatever you want to do. Just where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to find me,
it's not his fault if you can't.
I'm out there. Yes, it's your fault.
So stay tuned for next week when we have another guest on that I don't know who it is yet, but thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Dude,
nice and easy.
Thanks, man.